Hello, I'm Leonard Somero. I'm 30 years old and I live in Oulu, Finland. I've just started a software company of my own specializing in video games. The company is called Leonard Somero Productions and its hub is at leonard-somero.itch.io. At the time of writing this script, there's 6 projects available for download on the itch page. I've handpicked 4 of my finest quality games and uploaded 2 other projects which we'll discuss later. Let's take a look at what the site has to offer. I've already covered multiple mazes in a previous video of mine, but here's the gist of it. It's a puzzle platformer where you can move rooms around. There's 3 worlds to explore, and since the previous video I've added a beta test mode which serves as a teaser of the upcoming 4th and 5th worlds. The first world is quite small and works as a tutorial that you cannot really fail in anyway. Second world ramps up the complexity and you need a solid grasp of room shifting to progress. The third world introduces a new mechanic, electricity controlled with wires and switches. The fourth world is planned to have these spinning saw blades that can collect gems for you and destroy certain blocks. You need to alter their paths with switches and pistons and watch out cause they can hurt you too. The fifth world will introduce the last new mechanic, gravity flipping. As I mentioned in the previous video, the game is loved by speedrunners. J-Root still holds the world record with 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It is such a warm feeling to see people really dedicate themselves to playing my game and doing even better than I can. Next up is ROWBYROW, which is my largest game project yet. There's currently 3 worlds ending in a boss fight. I plan to have 5 bosses in the final game. I started developing the game in 2021 and I know it's going to take me a few years to finish it. But I am a patient man. ROWBYROW is a mix between genres, an RPG where the fights are handled by solving Picross boards. If you don't know what Picross is, it's a number-based puzzle that forms a picture when solved. I recommend checking out the Wikipedia article to find out how to solve them. However, I saw a streamer play my game without knowing what Picross even is. They just learned how to solve them on the fly with the help of the Twitch chat. It was really enlightening to see as a game developer and gives me confidence that the game isn't too confusing. There's a bit of story to the game. You're a fresh graduate from the academy and your mentor is giving you instructions on what to do next. The overall goal of the game is to defeat the 4 monster generals, the first of which can be fought in the current build. There is going to be a pretty significant plot twist, so look out for that. Mechanics wise, the bracketed numbers next to an attack show the amount of squares you have to paint on the Picross board. You can only paint in 1 row or column at a time. You have to plan ahead to make the best use of your available attacks, being mindful of the spell damage multipliers and cooldown timers. I want to highlight one quite nifty feature in the game. When you see a spell being cast by an enemy, you automatically learn it yourself. There's a total of 19 spells currently, use them wisely. One more thing about the game. Mark Brown came up with the original concept of a Picross RPG. When he heard about ROWBYROW, he featured it in one of his Game Maker's Toolkit videos. My itch notifications exploded overnight when that happened. Shoutouts to Mark. Then there's Momentum, which is a remake of an old Flash game I made in the mid-2010s. With the death of Flash in 2020, I was saddened that we couldn't play the game anymore as I remembered it being very fun. So in 2022 I started working on a remake with Luala. I carefully reviewed the original source code to make sure that the physics work the exact same in the remake. But besides copy-pasting code, there's many additional features that weren't present in the original, such as a title screen, a replay gallery and even a new game mode. I selected this game for LSP's page because it's fun to play, it has a lot of features and it's got a banger soundtrack. Now let's talk Luala. It's a local multiplayer cave flyer game heavily inspired by the Finnish scene's games like Rocket Chase, Cops and Tappo 2. They were really popular here for a while, every programmer made their own at some point. But now they have faded in obscurity due to the advent of online multiplayer games. My wish with Luala is to help revive the scene. The name Luala comes from the Finnish word luola, meaning cave, and the Lua programming language which the game is made with. There's 6 weapons and 2 special items to collect. The weapons spawn in random locations and can be selected by landing in your own base. Landing on an enemy base starts a capture. If your base isn't captured, you can still respawn. The goal is to capture all enemy bases and defeat all enemy ships so that they cannot respawn. The scrapping mechanic, which converts your weapons to scrap metal and sometimes other items, is worth noting. While scrap metal doesn't do anything at this point, I plan on it being a key element in the upcoming shipbuilding mechanic. I haven't yet figured out how to build ships though, it's still in the design phase. But the game is perfectly playable even without that mechanic. A compact experience that will surely entertain groups at parties. Now that we've seen the 4 games on my itch page, it's time to announce the other 2 projects, which aren't games. LÖVECTOR is Leonard Somero Productions' first own project. It's a vector graphics library for love, which basically means a tool for drawing curvy lines. I'm currently making my own demo with LÖVECTOR, which is meant to showcase the tool's potential. The key function is called Bezier. It takes as an argument 1 to 4 dots and draws a curve connecting them. You can also animate the curves by giving 2 parameters ranging from 0 to 1. It's perfectly functional, however I plan on adding anti-aliasing and SVG importing, which have been feature requests. One feature request has been fulfilled, the option to draw lines with round endpoints. Just call paint with circles for round endpoints and paint with squares for flat endpoints. Finally, we have the milkyheart discography, which is quite the heavy package. You can get all of my 20 music releases for the price of a single album. milkyheart's thesis is inventing my own genre called drum spam. You can try before you buy, of course, by going to milkyheart.vip and streaming the releases there. If you like what you hear, consider supporting the discography for only $14. milkyheart's music is sometimes wild, sometimes glitchy, and sometimes beautiful. It's all made in Renoise, which is an excellent tool for the beat slicing that I need to make drum spam. I started the milkyheart project in 2018 and it's still going strong. If you're new to my music, I recommend starting with the latest release, Bang EP. Whew, that turned out to be quite a long script. But since you're still here, you must be at least somewhat interested in my project. The link is again leonard-somero.itch.io. You can try everything for free, but you are expected to donate after an extended period of testing. I'm super excited to officially be an entrepreneur now, the future seems bright. I have 4 projects underway, including this very video. Look forward to an HD remake of the Very Software's game VAS, made as a stress test for LÖVECTOR. And so, we've arrived to the end of the video. Special thanks to Cameron Fancher and SamCox08 for proofreading this script. Alright, see ya!